Charity admits the shocking truth about her baby's secret with Ross in Emmerdale. Charity Dingle has been suffocating under the weight of her guilt for weeks, and it only gets worse when she learns that the baby she's carrying isn't granddaughter Sarah Sugden's and her boyfriend Jacob Gallagher. It's actually her and Ross Barton's. Charity agreed to be a surrogate for Sarah after it became clear that any traditional surrogacy route would be unwilling to help due to Sarah's Fanconi anemia diagnosis. Though it drove an enormous wedge between her and husband Mackenzie Boyd, Charity was dedicated to seeing the surrogacy through and after the first attempt failed. Sarah was utterly elated when Charity was confirmed pregnant. Note: Sarah was elated. Charity, on the other hand, was notably less so. As it turns out, prior to the embryo transfer following an almighty blow-up with Mac, Charity turned to ex-lover Ross for comfort. And after the two slept together, Charity was totally unsure as to whose baby she was carrying. Though she turned briefly to ex-girlfriend Vanessa Woodfield, admitting the baby may not be Sarah's, she stopped short of correcting Vanessa when she assumed Mac was the father. Ross, meanwhile, is like a dog with a bone and desperate to find out whether or not the child Charity is carrying is his. With Ross failing to be discreet enough in his hounding of Charity, her cousin Chaz Dingle has clocked the clandestine chats between the two. Charity's guilt has increased tenfold upon the return of Mac, who spent weeks as a prisoner in unhinged John Sugden's bunker. When a DNA test confirms Charity's worst fears, she's utterly despondent, and when Chaz probes about her current state, Charity finally breaks. They have a conversation, and then it just spills out of her, and there's no going back after that release. Unfortunately, Chaz takes the higher moral ground and says, under no circumstances can you not consider telling everyone you have to come clean. And obviously Charity is horrified that her best friend, her cousin, is telling her to do the right thing morally. She says you cannot take this lie into the baby being born and present Sarah with a child that's not even hers. Charity, feeling completely unable to handle the situation, decides then to have an abortion. She feels it's the only way out, to maybe just try and make it go away and bury it once and for all, and it's such an immoral thing that she's considering doing, but she feels it's her only option at this point. She feels this is her only option, even though it is also awful, an unbearable, unforgivable act. When she returns home, Sarah presents her with a box of keepsakes for the baby and invites Charity to write a letter to place inside. Charity, meanwhile, struggles to stomach the idea. The worst thing is she's got to cover it all up, so it's all going on inside, and on the surface she's got to sustain this calmness and this acceptance. The audience get to see that level of horror in Charity's eyes, but obviously she can't show it to Sarah. While we can't reveal the outcome of Charity's decision, one thing we can reveal: whatever her actions may be, won't make the situation go away. It will simmer for a while, and then obviously we know that secrets and lies do have a way of coming out one way or another, of course. There's so much riding on this. What will Ross do when he finds out that Charity aborted his child? Explosive anger. Ross has already been obsessed with knowing the truth, so finding out Charity chose abortion without telling him first could push him into a rage. He might lash out publicly at Charity, Sarah, and even Mac, making the situation blow up across the village. Heartbreak and betrayal. Beneath the anger, Ross could feel utterly betrayed. He wanted answers because he cared about the possibility of being a dad again, and Charity's decision might leave him devastated and spiraling. Revenge mode. If Emmerdale writers want more drama, Ross might retaliate against Charity by exposing her secret to Sarah and Jacob before she's ready, ensuring maximum fallout. Twist of compassion. Unlikely but possible. Sometimes the show throws curveballs. Ross could surprise everyone by softening understanding Charity's guilt and torment, and ultimately standing by her even if he's crushed inside. Given Ross's history, though, the first two options, anger and betrayal, feel the most likely. His reaction could also set off a chain reaction, dragging Sarah, Jacob, Mac, and even Vanessa back into the chaos.